Thursday night game. So let's talk about Utah, Florida. Utah looking for revenge after, losing in Gainesville last year, losing in the Swamp. This time without QB1 and QB2, they had to reside to the third and fourth string in Bryson Barnes and your guy,
Nate Johnson.
Nate Johnson, which, it was a little shaky in that position, but, they were firing early. Bryson Barnes with the 7-yard touchdown to open the game. And, it was just kind of, they didn't seem like they were going to lose after that.
No, yeah, and the whole switching between QBs thing was a little weird. I don't know. I like sticking with a guy. And if that guy doesn't perform, then you move on to the next guy and you stick him in there and keep him in there. But they decided to go back and forth, switching him back and forth within the game. And I don't know. I don't think they necessarily had the offensive impact that they wanted, but I think they were dominant for the most part.
Yeah.
They dominated the first half. Game wasn't really as close as the score seemed.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I felt like the game was a lot more out of reach than, a 2-score football game.
Yeah. And I think it's just a tell to how far Florida has fallen off.
Yeah.
And that's crazy to say because they have the number 3 recruiting class in the nation right now.
Which is crazy
for next season. So I don't know. Graham Mertz played pretty well for the most part, but he didn't seem threatening. I wasn't really ever scared of Graham Mertz. Ricky Pearsall played really well, though.
Yeah.
Wide receiver.
Yeah, he was getting most of the targets.
But they couldn't really establish a run game. I think they had 13 rushing yards all game. So if Florida can't establish a run, then they're not going to really affect you too much.
Yeah, I agree. And it's just, for me, it's confusing how Florida can, go out there and get a top 5, top 10 recruiting class almost every year. And they still have to go shopping in the portal desperately for a quarterback and, picking up Graham Mertz, who's only going to be with the team for a couple months going into the season opener. You can't expect too much from him. You'd like to see, maybe like a fresh or a sophomore who played behind Anthony Richardson last year, was more familiar with the team in that position. But yeah, you can't expect, Graham Mertz to just go in there and, turn things around for a Florida team who's been, they've been disappointing these last few years to say the least.
Yeah. You can tell that the altitude really got to him as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Because they looked tired.
Yeah.
They looked really tired.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the game. So I don't know. Billy Napier has some work to do down there in Florida.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, after watching the Swamp Kings doc, it's weird because Urban would lose to a top, 25 team and people would be like, is Urban Meyer going to get fired?
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
And now Billy Napier can go in 6-7 and then lose the season opener. And it's just kind of that's what Florida has become, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is too bad. But yeah, for the Utes, got their revenge and they'll move forward, play Baylor next week as, the Pac-12 continues to succeed